Committee. I now call this meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting an audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. I am seeing no one in the audience who is recording. At this time, I ask that all electronic devices be placed into silent mode. I am joined here tonight by Councillors Walsh, Boschman, and Councillor Kuchar, who has made his way. I am Councillor Cruz. I invite anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to please approach the podium, identify yourself, name and address, name and city of residence rather, and identify the agenda item on which you would like to speak, and you may speak for no more than 2 minutes. Seeing no one in the audience or on Zoom, we will get right into our agenda. The first petition, 068-25-2, was held from the previous meeting. We divided the question, so anyone who was not able to watch the previous meeting or the following City Council meeting, just to refresh your memory, we approved the first half of the petition at the previous Finance Committee. It was then approved by the City Council as a whole. That was to raise the rate fire alarm system from 200 to 300. What we have taken up now, after some diligence and some follow-up, is we request these funds be deposited into a revolving fund for equipment maintenance and future upgrades. This fee is charged annually through the fire department for all fire alarm systems. This system is maintained and monitored by the Fitchburg Fire Department Dispatch Center 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I would like to call for an amendment here really quickly that we make this effective July 1st, 2026 for fiscal year 27.
Motion to amend.
Second.
I have a motion to amend and a second. Seeing no objections, is amended to go into effect July 1st, 2026. Previously, there were some concerns regarding the legality of an enterprise fund. It is now a revolving fund, as well as concerns with the administrative work from the city clerk. But the fire department has agreed to handle all administrative work. Here from the department is Chief Suarez to answer any additional questions the council may have. Chief Suarez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think you've said it all. But yeah, this is a funds that we received through our AES system, which is a fire monitoring system. We are raising the rates in January of 2026 from 200 to 300, and I'd like these funds to go into our revolving fund so that we can continue to support, repair our communication system, which not only Fitchburg Fire uses, but Fitchburg Police, Mass State Police. I think DPW is going to be on there soon, FBI, and the DEA. If anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Questions from committee members?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have questions?
No questions.
Seeing none, we have a motion, Councillor Boschman?
I'd like to make a motion that we hold this until later on in the year, if you don't mind.
Is there any particular reason you'd like to hold?
I think we got a whole year, and I'd like to see what the budget looks like and how everything's going going into the year. I think we should hold off on it. There's no rush. You're going to start in July 26. So what's the big hurry?
Mm-hmm. We have a motion. Is that a motion to hold?
I'll second it.
I have a motion to hold and a second. Do you have any objections to holding?
I guess not.
I would have, after we did the diligence, my concern, as I remember from last meeting, was that the clerk's office would be doing the administrative work. I had an issue with that. The department has agreed to handle the administrative work. And it wouldn't go effect into 27 anyways, fiscal year 27. This is not a precedent we haven't set. The police department has a revolving fund. So if a motion to hold, I am going to be a no. Councillor Kuchar?
Because it's not a pressing issue, and I kind of agree with Councillor Boschman that, let's see what the budget looks like this year, I'd be a yes.
Okay. Councillor Boschman?
Hold.
Hold. Councillor Walsh?
Yeah, I guess hold.
Okay. Motion passes 3-1. Going to be held.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All right, next agenda item, 078-25, order there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $400,000, say and be charged against available funds and credited to DPW administrative engineering expenses, stormwater contract services. For this, we have Commissioner Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a request that I've made every year since FY19. And this is a request for $400,000 from available funds to cover the cost of our stormwater program, essentially. So the first year that this was funded, it was funded at approximately $340,000 in the FY18 budget. The following year, the strategy was changed such that I came before you and requested that same amount from available funds. And we've done that every year since FY19 up until present. And that's why I'm here in front of you again. So what we use this funding for is to cover the cost of our municipal separate storm sewer system permit, MS4 permit for short. And this is an EPA permit that we're required to operate our stormwater system in the city. And we use this funding for all of the requirements of the permit, plus some additional uses for stormwater equipment, and then cash matches for grants to improve the stormwater system, and then also for various stormwater construction projects in the city. And over the past several years, we funded drainage work on Blossom Street, drainage work on Lunenburg Street, drainage work on Cushing Street to convert it to a pedestrian way, drainage work on Williams Road, drainage work on Summer Street, drainage work on Depot Street, drainage work on North Street, drainage work on Dept Circle, drainage work on McIntyre Road prior to paving, drainage work on Willow Street, Billings Road, Normandy Road, and at the City Hall campus back when City Hall was being constructed. So this funding has a variety of uses. Over the past 7 years since FY18, we've allocated approximately $3 million to stormwater in total. About 20% of that has gone to construction. About 10% of that has gone to equipment. About 37% of that has gone directly to consultants for assistance with the different tasks required under the MS4 permit from the EPA, and approximately 13% has gone towards grant cash matches. So I'm asking for the same amount of funding this year. In the future, we look to create some sort of a more sustainable funding mechanism, such as a stormwater utility, and you'll hear more about that in the very near future. So with that, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Erickson. Questions from committee members? Councilor Bosch.
Nick, couple questions. When this first came out, if I recall right, I thought we were going to be using it to repair the manhole, the catch basins, build them up and all that. Are we still doing that?
We do use some of this money for that. Some of the smaller dollar items like that, like stormwater supplies, aren't necessarily broken out specifically in the list of improvements that I just gave you, but when we have a catch basin repair, when we have a manhole repair, when we have a culvert that needs to be fixed, and we do it in-house, typically we'll purchase the supplies and materials through this funding or one of the other stormwater funds that we have in the DPW budget.
Now, is this funding used to, I noticed you hired an outside contractor to come around and clean the catch basins last year. Mm-hmm. Was this money used for that? Not
this money. That was actually money that was given to us by, I believe it was the state, in response to the July 2023, I think it was July 18th rainstorm, or somewhere around that date. But it was all that flooding that we experienced back in July 23. We received a little over $1 million from the state to address some of that flooding. And one of the things we did was cleaned out all the catch basins using that money.
So did they go all over the city? Do you know?
Yep, they did.
They did? Because I know they missed a couple of places up in your ward.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did the whole city, but keep in mind, a lot of these catch basins fill up after only 2 or 3 rainstorms. So there's some that need to go back and be cleaned out again. That's an ongoing annual thing that we need to do. We've got that same company still under contract with an amount remaining on that PO. So our plan was to have them come back, address some problem areas, and then we've got some pipes that are clogged that need to be jetted out. We've got a line item in that contract for pipe jetting too, so we're planning to have them come back and do some more work this year too.
Okay. I yield the floor.
Thank you. Just quick question from me. Do you remind me, what was the fine that Fitchburg was receiving for not following the EPA mandate finally? Just the stormwater.
I don't remember offhand, but I think it was something like $25,000 per day of noncompliance or something like that.
I remember I can't remember the exact total, but I remember it was pretty absurd because we had sort of kicked the can down the road. So
right.
This is definitely something that we need to address and address now. So I'm all in favor. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Seeing no objections, It is approved unanimously.
Thank you, councilors, and I'll get you that fine amount. I have
It's
it
okay.
somewhere
I
saved.
remember it being outrageous. We can skip now to the next one if you'd like, the 073-25.
What number?
That was me.
That one's Liz. I'm here
Oh, terrific. Okay.
to support it too, so.
All right, and we'll keep going down the line here. Next agenda item, 071-25, order there be and hereby is appropriate from available funds the sum of $20,000 for health rubbish removal cleanup funds. Director Curry is here to speak with us today on that one.
71, 72,
I have 0175-25.
72.
Council, 72 is actually the same thing. It could be combined if council
Yeah,
so chooses.
that's why I was saying it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can combine the two, is that what you're
Yeah,
asking?
yeah.
Okay, we'll do that as well. We'll combine the two then, 072-25, order the city of Fitchburg hereby transfers the sum of $9,500 from health, travel, and meeting expense to health rubbish removal cleanup funds. Director Curry, thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good evening, councilors. Councilors, this account has been quite active. We've spent about a little more, almost 60% on contracting to get items removed from the side of the road or illegally dumped where we cannot identify a property owner or a dumper. A good portion of the funds, over 20%, have been used to contract to board and secure properties where the owner has failed to board and secure a vacant property. We've also come across a situation just recently, a property in West Fitchburg. We had to condemn the home. It's a three-family home. There were 20-something occupants, so we had to immediately relocate the occupants. That ate up a good about $13,000 of that fund. And this fund also supplies funding for our citywide cleanups that are going on right now. This account is in the red, about $11,000 as we speak. So this is why I'm asking for the transfer of the two items on the agenda. I gladly entertain questions.
Councilor Walsh.
Good evening, Director Curry.
Good evening.
What would happen at the home in West Fitchburg if we failed to pay for the relocation costs? Why is the owner just not?
The owner refused to relocate. The wiring inspector had to shut off electricity and remove it from the building due to conditions inside the building that didn't warrant keeping the electric on. So two of the tenants had children. One of them had 5 children. So it was quite the expensive relocation, but couldn't leave them there, and we needed a quick home for them, so they did stay in a motel for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then we helped them out with first, last, and security and an extra unit, another apartment.
And is there a mechanism for the city to recoup those funds from the owner, or is
Yes.
it like trying to get blood from a stone? Is that the term?
Well, in this case, we would prepare the total and place. We would bill the owner, and if the owner failed to pay, and in this case it's upwards of $13,000, we would lien the property. I have spoken to the owner just recently, and it does appear she is going to move forward with selling the property.
Okay.
So we may get our lien money back quicker than usual.
Okay.
But in a sale, we would get the lien funds back.
Okay, thank you. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Boschman.
That's part of my question, Bet. Thank you. The second part of the question, on these wide cleanups, in your professional opinion, you think it's worth it that we spend this kind of money on the wide cleanups?
The ward cleanups are beginning to get a little expensive, and they also are becoming a dump site for folks to clean their basements. It's getting hard to determine whether we're actually accomplishing anything. On the streets now, I mean, there is a visible improvement after we do have a cleanup, but sustainability there, I don't know if that's making a difference.
Mr. Chair, the reason why I asked that question to him, it seems to me that when I joined, I didn't go to the last one. I had previous commitments. But it seems to me that there's less volunteers and there's more city workers than there are volunteers. And sometimes I wonder if it's really worth going through all this expense to have the city workers come, and we can't get volunteers. I mean, you can't run a thing with 5 people or 10 people coming and cleaning up.
I have also noticed a considerable amount of less volunteers. That's unfortunate. It's probably more a question about outreach versus finance. So for now, we're just determining if we're going to finance several things with this money, not just the war cleanups, including the house that was foreclosed on.
Well, I'm going to vote for it because
Not foreclosed on.
the reason be, he told us that we're going to get back the $13,000. If we weren't going to get it back, I was going to be upset and say, why are we putting people up? I mean, you can come to my house and put them up there too.
I mean, in some cases, it takes years to get these funds back. I don't want to tell you that it's going to happen overnight. It could take years, but I believe the property owner is very interested in selling the property, so I don't think in this case, it looks like, provided the property sells. Incidentally, while that's happening, we will be proceeding with court action and seeking a receiver, so we don't have and we will also be working with the Attorney General's office, their abandoned building receivership program, so that that building doesn't sit for an extended amount of time vacant. Excuse me.
Okay, I yield the floor. Thank you.
Councilor Boschman. Councilor Kuchar.
That property in West Fitchburg, I know it well. Wouldn't you consider that a complete tear down?
Yes, you'd be surprised, though. Some people see treasures in families' buildings.
Okay,
it'd be quite expensive, and it may be a tear down, but I've seen sales of much worse properties as well. So it's a hard. I mean, there's not a lot of property out there when you're looking for a home, especially a 3-family home. And I don't. Anything can happen these days. The market's a little funny.
You get a lot of money for that place.
All right. Now, as for the ward cleanups, I mean, as my Councilor Boschman has suggested, and also Councilor Cruz, I have seen quite a dramatic downturn in the volunteers. I'm out there all the time trying to get more people to volunteer. I really think it's something that the city really needs to start an outreach. But has anybody ever suggested going to the court and seeing if we could get community service, people that are on community service, to go out during the
We did have them one year. I believe we've been doing this. I took over in about 2000, somewhere around there. We did have them one year, but that's not a bad idea to go reach out and see if we can get interest again. So, no, the answer to your question is no, it hasn't been done for a few years.
I think maybe we should look into that.
They don't want to work.
It's free service, Paul. Come on.
Yeah, I know, but they don't want to work. The prisoners.
You know what? They don't have a choice. They're on community service.
They sat when they came over my place.
Councilor Kuchar has the floor.
Oh, this is.
I yield the floor. Thank you.
Thank you,
Chairman.
It's, I don't think that we can really necessarily improve the outreach today beyond saying, those watching, we're going to be April 26th, Daniel Street, May 3rd at Wanusknock Road, and May 10th, the volunteers meet at Stanley Park on 1 Simmons Road. Those all start at 8 a.m. if anybody would like to come join. I will say, despite the diminishing volunteers, those who are there do an incredible job. Whether they work for the city or they're volunteering. And for a considerable amount of time, the area is much nicer, especially on some of our highly traveled roads, and it makes a big difference. As you know, Director Curry, we do have a dumping issue like a lot of towns and cities in Massachusetts. So it certainly helps with that. We don't want people cleaning out their basements at the same time. But I'm certainly encouraged that when we do have a problem property, that the city of Fitchburg doesn't just kick families out on the street and say, good luck, do your best. 13,000 is a significant chunk of change for a family, especially one on a fixed income, but for the city of Fitchburg, it's something we can definitely do. So I'm glad to hear that we are taking care of our residents in these circumstances. Councilor Kuchar.
I forgot to mention something in regards to the dumping. I seem to be on my email to you at least twice a week in regards to the dumping in West Fitchburg. So I don't want to see it on the side of my streets, so motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Seeing no objections, It is approved. Both are approved, 07-25 and 07-25, 07125, 072-25. Both approved unanimously.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Director Curry. Moving on to 073-25, order the City of Fitchburg hereby approves the expenditure of grant funds from the Massachusetts Department of Transportation Complete Streets Funding Program in the approximate amount of $456,121 to support pedestrian projects on Summer Street and at Electric Avenue and Rollstone Road. Director Murphy, as you know, we have gone back and forth about this quite a bit, figuring this one out, so I'm very excited to see this here and for you to talk about this tonight.
Yeah. So thank you, Chairperson Cruz. I do need to acknowledge that I was at the dentist right before here. So if I sound a little off, that's why. I'm still a little numb, and I invite you to guess which side of me is numb after. We have Summer Street and near Boutelle Street. That's one of the projects, and then the other one is Electric Ave at Rollstone Road. So two projects, one grant. Community Development's working with DPW to execute this. We're, assisting with the financing. They're executing the actual work. With respect to Summer Street, it's primarily two new crosswalks with RRFBs at both crosswalks. One would be, where the sidewalk ends on the south of the street, allowing pedestrians to cross via an accessible sidewalk to the north side of the street where the sidewalk continues. So that's down near around the 99, that area, the sidewalk just ends. So somewhere in that section at the most, the safest point, there will be a crosswalk there with an RRFB. And then the other crosswalk would be in the area of the honey farms, in that vicinity of where Summer Street, Boutelle comes in, Hancock comes in, there's a honey farms there. So in that area, we are trying to identify the safest route to put that crosswalk, and we've narrowed it down, so fine-tuning that right now. Then the other piece of that is to speed. Your speed is flashing signs, which PD really encouraged us to apply for. They said they find that actually slows people down much more than the RRFBs. Not that the RRFBs aren't important. So that's Summer Street, and then Electric Ave. We have this rotary around Rollstone Road and Electric Ave, but the crosswalk does not continue around that rotary. So that is, we will be putting the sidewalks in around the rotary with all of the accessible curb cuts, and then we will install approximately 270 linear feet of 6-inch concrete sidewalk on the approach to and within the roundabout, approximately 600 linear feet of granite curbing, installing 4 new compliant curb ramps and detectable panels, improving 1 additional curb ramp, striping, and a 2-inch mill and fill with the original extents of the roundabout to preserve the integrity of the road. And if you want more detail than that, we might need to ask our commissioner.
Okay. Thank you, Director Murphy. Do I have questions from committee members? Councilor Walsh.
Good evening, Director Murphy. I just want to say I'm very excited about both of these projects. I am a little more excited about the one on Boutelle Street and Summer Street, since it's right in my neighborhood. And we walk that way a couple times a week with our dogs, and I have to tell you, crossing Summer Street in the morning is really, really crazy.
I can imagine.
So I'm happy to see this happening, and I am so in favor of this. I would jump up and cheer, but I won't. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Boschman.
On Electric Avenue,
Yes, sir.
are you going to, you're doing a roundabout and you paid in the crosswalks. Are you going to put the blinkers in for crossing?
I don't know that we had RRFBs there, no.
Are you putting them on Deerfield Road?
Yes.
You're going to have them there?
Just for the public, I'm going to talk into the microphone here.
Thank you.
So the crosswalk on Electric Ave at Old Deerfield Road is funded through CDBG, and that's being worked on right now as part of Lazaro's assigned scope of work for Electric Ave reconstruction, repaving. So that should be done and actually constructed within the next several weeks. So very much looking forward to that. With the Rollstone and Electric Roundabout project, we're doing the pedestrian safety improvements, but we're not adding RRFBs to that one. I know there's been issues with traffic coming down Rollstone and not yielding at the roundabout, so we're looking at ways to improve that situation as part of all this too. Whether it's with signage, striping, combination of both, we're looking at a couple different options for that. And then on the Summer Street project, as Director Murphy mentioned, we are adding the RRFBs for those crossings there because you've got really high-speed traffic, high-volume traffic on Summer Street, and then in combination with those dynamic, they call them combination dynamic speed feedback and speed limit sign assemblies. It's a mouthful to say, but that should help reduce some of the speeding there and then make it safer to cross the road.
So when you say that big word you just said, are you telling me they're going to have a sign here saying you're going this fast?
Yeah, it'll be.
You have on Electric Ave?
Correct. Like we just installed on Bowtell Street as part of a CDBG grant a year or two ago. Same type of signs there.
So can we put one up there by Deerfield Road so you know you're taking off? And because Electric, you know this, Electric Avenue, they drive pretty fast.
We could add one there. We'd have to fund it separately from what we're talking about right now. I mean, you and I can talk offline about trying to get that funded through our Chapter 90 budget, which is we're using to fund that Electric Ave work.
Now, before we go, we're not making this a total complete street, are we? When I say complete street, because I vote against it, if you're telling me you're going to have a line on the side of the road for bicycles.
This grant is not doing anything with bike lanes.
Okay, so it's not doing anything with bike lanes.
Right.
Because I know you wanted to slow it.
I'm getting my bike lanes, Council Person. I promise you that.
I know you wanted to slow down traffic up there on Electric Avenue, and I've been looking it up and reading it up on this, and what the idea to slow it down, you should do it now, is put an island right in the middle, so this way when you come across Deerfield, you stop, like you have over here on Main Street, down at Deja, North Street and Main. Right there, where you cross right there, there's an island, trees and all that, and you can slow down traffic that way. But a bike path I won't support. Unless you make a big wide sidewalk or you put it in the middle of the road and have the bike lane right in the middle with guards so people can drive their bikes.
And long term, we'd like to do something like that, but that's a major roadway reconstruction, and you're talking a lot more money than what we're putting into the roadway right now. We're trying to limit it to a mill and fill of the pavement so that, it's not bumpy like it is now, and then whatever is funded through CDBG for those crossing improvements at Old Deerfield Road. So I think it's lumped in with a couple other projects, but there's, I think, roughly 100,000 or so for those crosswalk upgrades.
Well, are you going to raise the bid on the crosswalk a little bit higher than the street so people will definitely have to kind of slow down? I mean, not like that, but you know what I mean, a little slower.
We're just planning to paint it on the asphalt, just like most other crosswalks in the city. I'm really hesitant to install. That's basically a speed bump in the middle of a major road. I've got some personal concerns with that, just from a safety standpoint. It might slow traffic down, but the traffic that doesn't slow down, especially motorcyclists, that could create additional hazards for those people. Not that they should be speeding, but if they are speeding, it's going to make potential dangerous situation if they hit that speed bump going 50, 60 miles an hour on a motorcycle. That's a whole nother hazard that those types of things create. I'd hate to do that on a major thoroughfare like Electric Ave. That's more suited for like View Street, for example. We're talking about doing that for Applewild kids crossing the road.
Okay. I yield the floor. Thank you very much.
Councilor Bushman.
All set.
I'll just speak briefly. I'm very excited to see this. I think we've met several times regarding Electric Avenue, and my fear is that once we pave it, it's going to be flat and smooth, and people are just going to fly. So I think it's very important that we put in these beacons. They raise the stopping of motorists by, I think it's from 20% to about 80% of people, and they'll stop for people who cross over. There are so many residents and families up there who cross over to walk on the cemetery and go down to the park, and It's a heavily foot trafficked area, so I think it's good, and I'm really grateful that we're doing this all at the same time and not trying to rush it when we do pave it and scrambling to get it over there. So I want to thank you both for your diligence with this, and I look forward to those bike lanes that Councillor Boschman is so against.
I look forward to that future combo.
To reduce accidents, slow down traffic, and it just makes it a quality of life, makes it a much better place to live, especially we've got Coxwell Park right there. It's just a great area to have a lot of pedestrian traffic and families moving around, especially in the summertime. So definitely looking forward to all of that, and I want to thank you both for the work in this. Thank you.
One final question.
Councilor Roshan.
Nick, when we put up those beacons, or whatever you want to call them, instead of having them right on the corner so they can get hit by cars, every time I look around, the one up there already by the Knights of Columbus get hit once. The one over here on River Street get hit once. And there was another one that get hit not too long ago.
This one here on Main Street, right across from
Main
City
Street,
Hall, got
yeah.
hit. Yeah.
Why don't we just put it back, put a pole, and come out with an arm, and you have the beacon right there where people still can see, and it's high up.
We got to use what's available. Those types of things aren't, they're available, but they're extremely expensive compared to just the pedestal mounted ones, because you're talking about a bigger foundation, you're talking about more space to support that arm and the wind load and all that. We could look at that for some future options, but for this one, we're going to go with what we've already priced out and included in the grant and all that.
All right. I yield the floor.
Well, they do get hit all the time. It's typically, if we have an accident report, we can go through insurance and get that funded through the driver that made the error. In some cases, there's hit and runs, and we don't have an accident report, and it's on the city's dime to fix it in those cases, and that really stinks. With the one at Old Deerfield Road, we're going to try to use one of the utility poles out there to our advantage as kind of protection for it, so it should help with the side across from Forest Hill. The side on the same side as Forest Hill, it's going to be kind of wide out in the open, so that one's, likely to get hit at some point.
I shouldn't get hit.
The one at the intersection of Mount Elam Road and Electric Ave got hit like the day after we put it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I was walking up there and I saw it.
Yeah.
I said, oh my God, unbelievable.
That one we had an accident report for it though.
Oh, you had an action report there?
Yeah.
That's because they're good people up there, that's why. You just don't take off. Thank you. I yield the floor.
Thank you,
Motion to
Councilor
approve.
Boschman.
Motion to...
I have a motion and a second to approve. Seeing no objections, it is approved. Thank you both.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, councilors.
Moving on to 04-25, order the City of Fitchburg hereby approves the expenditure of earmarked funds from the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities in the approximate amount of $250,000 to support the conversion of vacant upper story space in downtown into housing. Director Murphy.
Thank you. Pretty straightforward. We have an earmark through Senator Cronin's office for $250,000. Has to be used for upper story housing conversion. We have to spend it by June 30th, and that's not a lot of time. We do have the 533 Main Street, the property that came before the entire council for the tie agreement. That is going to be actually moving forward soon. They have told us that they need to get the roof repaired right away because water is actively coming in and they want to stop the damage. So they told me the estimate's about $300,000. So my intention is to sign an agreement with them to have them spend this money by June 30th because they can use it right away.
Questions from committee members. Councilor Boschman.
I'm going to be honest with you, I've been trying to talk to some of the councilors. I'm just going to hold this because I believe that we have a problem downtown, and with us putting residential units upstairs at 1 and 2 bedrooms, there's going to be more people down there. And I'm afraid that as of right now, there's not as many people down there, but there's a lot of people hanging around, and it's affecting businesses. And I was going to hold this until we came, as a city, come up with a plan how we're going to resolve the issue of people just hanging around and affecting different businesses. I'm not working this hard, and my ward told me already, they agree with me, that they don't want to see us invest all kinds of money, and with people hanging around, you get study after study after study that says that's what people are complaining about, the people hanging around downtown. That's why some of them don't come. And it's been a proven fact that one restaurant affected his business.
I completely agree that that is a challenge. That's a real issue that we as a community have to address. It's a hard problem to solve. There's no simple answer. There are a variety of options, but I think whatever happens, it has to be a whole of city solution and probably a whole of community solution. But not moving forward with more housing isn't going to solve that problem. As a matter of fact, the lack of housing is part of the problem. I'm not saying that the folks that you see hanging around are going to occupy the units that are being created downtown. But in total, you find that you have larger unhoused populations, and frankly, that's what we're talking about, for the most part, in areas that have a housing crisis. When you account for other things like mental health and addiction, it's those communities that have the housing crisis, that don't have enough housing, that have this issue.
You know, I hear you say that, but I drive around other communities that have the same population and everything else, and they don't seem to have that problem. That's the problem I've had. The problem I have is, it's just that the attitude we take is, there's nothing we can do. How do they do it?
Respectfully, I'm not sure that they have solved their problem as much as maybe it's not quite as visible as it is here in our downtown. But I haven't explored that, so I'm speculating.
I'm not saying I don't want housing. I want us to correct the problem. This has not been today. This has been for years, councilors. Years. I sat on this council for 10 years, and people have been complaining about it before my time, about the problem downtown of having people hanging around. And now we're putting all kinds of residential. They're going to have kids, and I was a kid once, and I like to hang around, and I did hang around. So what makes me any different? It's going to happen not today or tomorrow. And we can say we're going to have a policeman up and down the court, but if we don't tell them to move.
Councilor, I think, and Director Murphy said it very well, you know, this isn't like a housing, this property isn't going to fix this, but it's, as we grow and as we expand and as we grow downtown, those problems, and I think in other communities what they've done is they have a really, you know, a more vibrant downtown, more people living in their areas, and once that occurs, you sort of see less of what you're talking about, less of this loitering. And I don't want to use the word gentrification. I don't think that's appropriate, but can't think of another word that would apply here. But it is, you know, proven that once you have that sort of growth in urban areas, those elements will be pushed to the side.
Where did you read that? I mean, I haven't seen it.
Well, respectfully, if you think about an area like Boston, Harvard Square, right? You have lots of people around. There are unhoused people. There are people that just hang around as a teenager. I used to go to Harvard Square, just hang around. But there's so much bustling. There's so many people around. That stuff kind of fades into the background. I'm not saying it's not going to be a presence and it shouldn't be a concern for us. You're absolutely right. It is a concern. And it's a concern that doesn't seem to be, we have a lot of challenges to try to solve this. There's no magic wand. There's no one single solution. It really is going to take every tool we have in our toolbox and maybe some tools that we don't have in our toolbox to try to solve this problem.
In my day, it used to be called loitering.
Do you have,
in my days.
It still is loitering. Do you have any further questions for Director Murphy?
No, that's it.
Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With all due deference to Councilor Boschman, I think that it's very short-sighted to not approve this because of a problem that's existed for years and years and years. This is something that's going to move things forward in Fitchburg, and I think by not approving this, we're going backwards. So I'm in favor of this.
Do we have any further? Are you all set?
I yield the floor.
Do we have any further questions for committee members? Councilor Kuchar.
So what company is actually doing the work on the property?
Do you mean the contractor?
Yeah.
I don't have that information yet. I would never sign an agreement or get that far without council approval first.
Do you want to know the property owner?
The property.
What is it?
Isn't it TOCCI?
Yes, it's the Tashi Group. It's the same group that came before you for the tie agreement.
The Tashi Group. Okay. And this is coming out of state funding?
Yes.
And what kind of oversight does the city have in regards to what happens with this money? Like,
We require the invoices to come in showing that they've been paid, and then we reimburse.
okay, so they just don't get $250,000
Oh, no.
all in one
Yep.
shot. They show the invoices like, this is how much it costs to repair the roof. This is how much it, okay.
We like to see it actually come in not all at once, but in phases so that we see progress.
And what's the plan with parking for these new downtown spaces?
Well, I can't answer that question with respect to what the Tashi Group's solution for parking is. I know they've talked about a few different iterations, partnership with Christ Church that has the parking lot right behind them. They've certainly reached out to us asking about Oliver Street, the empty lot there. There is parking in the garage, and they're close enough to the Putnam Street garage to be able to get approvals to build and have their tenants park in the garage. If we have all of the housing that we could potentially have in downtown as a result of conversions, we'll eventually have a parking problem. There's no doubt. But it's a problem, I think, that we want to have and want to solve for, because that means that we would have that many more people living downtown.
All right, I yield the floor.
Thank you, Councillor Kuchar. I don't believe I have any questions for Director Murphy at this time. Do you have additional questions?
One more question. I just want to make it very clear. I didn't say I was against it. I said I wanted to hold this for the reason until we address the problem downtown. I just want to make it very clear to everybody. I didn't say I was against housing. I just said I was for housing. But I just want I want the downtown addressed in my lifetime, not wait till I'm gone.
Thank you.
These funds will go back to the state if they are not used by June 30th.
Get my hands tied. All right.
Thank you for clarifying, Councillor Bushman. Because they do have a deadline to spend this earmark, I would like to entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Do we have a second to approve? I'll make the second. I have a motion and a second to approve. Seeing we might have some objections, Councillor Kuchar.
I don't know, I just have a problem with state funding going to a private developer. I'm not going to say I object, but I just don't like the way it looks, that's all. But I'll vote in favor of it.
Okay, that's a yes. Councillor Bushman?
Feel the same way. I don't feel the same way either, but my problem is downtown. But I'll support this. We got to come up with some plans.
Okay, that's a yay?
I say yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that, yes.
Okay, Councillor Walsh is in. Is a yes, and I am a yes as well. And I just want to say that this is very much a free market scenario regarding the funding. This state funding is coming from the state, which is our tax dollars, of course, but it's not coming out of Fitchburg's general fund. And it's, as much as we need housing, it is challenging to get in good developers, to entice them to come into our communities and to build. This is very much the price of doing business, and I'm glad it's the Tossi Group. They've been terrific partners so far. They have invested a great deal into Fitchburg, and we'd like to continue investing, and I hope that we can continue to be good partners and do what we can as a city to help them invest and help them improve our community so we can do it together. I think it was, 68 units of housing that they're planning, the Tossi Group? Something to that effect?
Not in that one building.
Not in that one building, thank you.
In total, I think they actually are up to, with the couple of different buildings they've acquired now, close to 100 units.
Close to 100 units. So, we don't have to roll out the red carpet. I know that corporate welfare term has been thrown around. I don't see that as this is corporate welfare. I think this is us working with a developer and a medium-sized developer who wants to invest in the city, and we should do everything we can. And regarding parking, I think the ZBA will do its careful diligence as they always do. So, I'm a yes. That's 4-0. It is approved.
Thank you.
And thank you to Senator Cronin as well for the earmark that made this possible under the deadline. Moving on, 075-25, order the City of Fitchburg hereby approves the expenditure of funds from the Round 2 of the Department of Fire Services Firefighter Safety Equipment Grant in the approximate amount of $5,452.33 for the purpose of purchasing handheld thermal imaging cameras. Excited to hear about that 33 cents. Chief Suarez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, these funds are from the second round of the Department of Fire Services, their Firefighter Safety Equipment Grant. With these funds, we'd like to purchase 6 thermal imaging cameras. Thermal imaging cameras play an important role in firefighting operations. They help us navigate smoke, find victims, and also monitor fire spread. These 6 cameras will be going on 6 vehicles that currently do not have these cameras. Fortunately, we are very familiar with this equipment, and all of our firefighters are trained to use this equipment. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Questions from committee members? Thank you, Chief.
Make a motion, we accept.
Second.
Okay, looks like no questions, and I'm okay.
All right,
It is
thank you.
approved. I'm seeing no objections. It is approved. 4-0. Moving on to 079-25, order the City of Fitchburg hereby transfer the sum of $10,000 from Treasurer Personal Services Clerical to Treasurer Expenses Temporary Services. With us, we have Treasurer Horn. Treasurer Horn, thank you.
079-25 is to transfer personnel services to a temporary services line. We had temporary help to cover with staffing shortages in my office for vacant positions. Any questions you have on that, I would be happy to answer.
Questions from committee members? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we accept.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for a transfer of funds within the Treasurer's Department. Seeing no objections, it is approved. Moving right along, as well as the Treasurer's Office, the next agenda item 08-25, order the City of Fitchburg hereby transfer the sum of $8,000 from Treasurer Personal Services Assistant Department Head to Treasurer Expenses Training.
Training for our existing software, Enterprise ERP, which is also known as Munis. This would give us 6 days of training as well as 2 additional investment assessment days where the financial software would work with us on different modules that we currently have that are not being utilized to their maximum capacity. This would help us provide better services and reporting to taxpayers and as well as employees. The 2 investment assessment days would have them working with us directly on our processes. They would sit with our current staff and go through their procedures and help them understand ways to make them more efficient. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer.
Questions from committee members? Councilor Boschman.
2 questions. I thought IT was involved in this IT start in Unix. I thought they were supposed to be Bet, you remember that? That Trevor used to tell us that when they started in Unix, or maybe Jackie.
Treasurer Horn, do you want to field that one, or would you like to pass it along?
So we did have a major upgrade in November of 2022, and a lot of that comes from the upgrade. So a lot of the modules were upgraded, and the reporting is different. There's better ways to utilize the system, but there was never any training dedicated to staff in terms of how they run the reports or how they use the software.
There wasn't any training at all?
I don't believe there was any training
Mr.
dedicated, no.
Yes.
You weren't here, you weren't elected, but I thought, Beth, I think you weren't. Trevor used to come up and say he used to have training sessions. Jackie, am I right or wrong?
It may be, correct me if I'm wrong, is it training specific to the Treasurer's Department?
I think a lot of the training that we would do was in-house. We would just try to train people in our in-house process, but not necessarily on the changes that Michaela's talking about with the software.
All right. I just want to make sure. No, I'm not against it, if you can learn something. My question to you, if they're like me, you always get questions asked. So can you call up anytime you want, or is it going to be like when MS4 program came into, and they said, oh, you can talk to me anytime, and all of a sudden I called them up, and they said, we can't talk to you unless you pay me. I said, what good are you then, if I can't ask questions?
Yeah, we can call them whenever. It's that...
No cost though, right?
No cost. When you call them, that's not as direct and it's not as helpful. So every municipality utilizes the software differently. So the way that they do it in Leominster, they might not do it here in Fitchburg. So this would help us get specific training on how we do things in-house.
Okay. Any questions?
Just a statement that if you get on,
Councilor Walsh.
get on the phone, it's going to cost us millions with all your questions.
Councilor Walsh has the floor. Councilor Walsh.
Pardon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would this training be helpful in determining delinquent taxpayers and figuring out the total that is owed to us that has not been paid?
Yes. So one of the modules I'm hoping to get more training on is entering payment arrangements into the system. So right now it's a very manual process. There is no actual way we're keeping track.
Okay.
We just kind of rely on people to come in and make their payment. This will allow us to track it in-house and as well, I believe, tack it on to their current bill.
You sold me on yes.
Yep.
Me as well. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion we accept.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Seeing no objections, it is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion we adjourn.
You've got two more.
Oh,
Councilor.
some more, sorry.
Flip the page.
Let's do
there.
those, Paul.
Oh, sorry.
Moving on to our final two agenda items. The first is 076-25. Order the City of Fitchburg hereby appropriate and transfer a sum of $350,000 from available funds to the Stabilization Fund. Seeing no
I
one.
make a motion we accept.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. For everyone, the viewing public, this is something that we do not quarterly, every
Every year.
annually. Something we do annually. Wasn't it 500,000?
To balance, but it, oh, sorry. Okay.
Historically, it's $350,000 a year. We've been doing that since, well, I don't know, at least the past 10 years. We did put in two tranches of $500,000 each
Okay.
to help stabilize the debt that's going to be coming on next year.
That's right.
So we'll be making a withdrawal at budget time of $1 million from this account that we had specifically set aside to help next year's budget, partly next year and partly fiscal '27.
Okay.
But this is the standard entry. We're not going to put in that additional $500,000 this year.
Okay, thank you, Auditor Cronin. So this is a standard thing we do every year. I have a motion and second to approve. Seeing no objections, it is approved. The next agenda item is very similar, 077-25. Order the City of Fitchburg hereby appropriate and transfer the sum of $250,000 from available funds to the Other Post-Employment Benefits OPEB Trust Fund. This is something that we are getting caught up with. This is another annual expenditure that we have made in the past. Do we have any questions for myself or Auditor Cronin?
I got a question for the accountant.
Councilor Bosch.
I read the thing, you 3.625 in the funds. Is that sufficient, or should we have more?
Well, it's insufficient. The actual liability that the city has is $147 million. So the balance that we have to offset that is about 2% of the total liability. But we keep plugging away, so we're headed in the right direction.
Oh, my God. I don't think I'll see it paid off in my lifetime.
Well, I hope we do, Councilor. I hope you have a very long life. You all set?
I don't think so.
They're playing the lottery, Paul.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve,
Second.
and I have a second. Actually, would you mind taking that motion back? I have one more question.
I will withdraw my motion.
Thank you, Councilor. Are we still on track to meet our 2035 goal?
Yeah, this is actually not the retirement obligation. This is the health insurance and life insurance that has been promised to retirees.
Terrific. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
I'll renew my motion.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Seeing no objections, it is approved.
Make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. Seeing no objections, we will adjourn. The Finance Committee will meet next month at 6 p.m. on May 14th. We are adjourned.